If we could then, I want to turn our sort of our thinking to themes. So, okay, what this process does is we're really trying to get out what are our worst fears, and conversely, which usually is the thing we most not want to happen. So the best case typically is, you know, what are the things that are the inverse of that? What are the best things that could happen? But as you can probably tell, you get a lot of different things. We're not going to make a goal to address every single one of these points, and in fact, some of the points conflict. But I do want to start seeing if in a group we can start discussing what are some major areas or themes that you see repeated again and again through this discussion. Let's see if we can tease out, you know, a few big areas that look like something. Pat and then Tammy.
I think the big one is community and the ability of the community to direct its future.
An ability to direct future. Okay. And Pat, in your group, if you wouldn't mind talking a little, how did you see this come out in both best and worst case?
Well, the best case was that the community in this collaborative process actually produces something that's better than just some floor. It actually creates a model, and that the community actually stays together and grows in a way that, you know, is sustainable.
Okay, so model. What about the other group? Is on this point, is there anything else that is in your discussion, community ability to direct its own future? Anything else in your group that you saw? Yeah, please.
Educated community?
Say that louder.
Educated community?
Educated community, okay.
High water literacy.
In both senses, huh? Okay, high water literacy. Anything else in this thing? Yeah, Steve and Sherry.
We had some discussion that this is a big problem, it's a complex problem, requires an integrated approach. We have a fragmented community. So, I mean,
Okay, so I think you're starting on a second thing, but what's the community part? Is it that the community needs to come together? I'm just trying to see if we
well,
can
the
set
problem
that
demands an integrated approach.
here. Okay.
And we aren't long on integration around here.
Okay.
Many groups working on the same difficulty, but not collectively.
Well, and we have a sewer district that doesn't address the canyon. You know, the canyon has problems too, and that kind of thing.
Okay, so I heard silos, I heard fragmentation.
Right.
I'm gonna ask a question, because you know, you guys all agreed to start this 6 months ago. Do you see anything in the community, you know, within the last few years, in water or other things, that this integration has improved? Or gotten worse? What are you guys seeing? I mean, I know, for instance, that how long have you guys been meeting those joint commission meetings down here?
Well, when they first started, probably 10+ years ago, there were half a dozen people. Now they're 75.
And they were once a year, and now they're twice a year, and they're still really well attended. I mean, they're very well attended.
The last one was the off season, and
Yeah.
we had to add chairs. So that was off season.
That was awesome.
It was packed.
Okay, so at least on that, we can see a clear trend towards you started it and at least you're getting more participation. What about other things, either plus or minus, that you're seeing in addressing silos, fragmentation?
Well, the predominant forces in the community are working together. I mean, this whole process is a manifestation of that. And that's not, I guess it might not be brand new, but it's a change from the past.
Branding is a good word. Big Sky has its own brand.
So you're seeing an increase in a brand or a communal identity, is that right or not? I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I'm trying to understand.
I think so.
Okay.
What would that brand be? Just out of curiosity, people, that's happening.
Biggest game, yeah.
You think it's just that brand,
Well-
which we've had for several years?
There
Is
is a
there-
movement amongst the tourism groups, and Visit Big Sky to create a brand for Big Sky, but that's just, it's in its infancy. So it's happening, it's just we're still collecting people and resources, and we're getting there.
I think the, where's Bob?
Just right-
Oh, Bob, do you remember what the brand is for the Jackson Hole Chamber of Commerce? It kind of gets to that, and it's all about living with, in an environmentally healthy community full of wildlife.
Yeah, I can't remember the catch.
But it's been a multi-year campaign in Jackson Hole to brand that community as the one that you go to if you want world-class recreation and wildlife.
Okay, so that's sort of outside branding. You guys have been talking about that, but I also am hearing, I'm not sure, but this sort of integration, a sense of a community that you live in, you understand sort of what it is, you're part of it. Is there more of that or not?
There's a lot of planning going on in several different areas. Like this is, focused on water, but there's also planning going on in our parks and our open spaces. There's also planning in developments. There's also planning in access points for public lands. There's also, and everybody is crossing over and talking about it within all the plans, so that the plans, as they build, integrate what each of the goals are across and how can we work together to accomplish.
Okay. So you're seeing, Sierra, sort of a change in kind of the tenor of, hey, there's a lot of this realizing, okay, this is kind of where we are.
I think it's just an element of the community's maturing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't have any long experience here, but lots of folks are starting to get that longer perspective. When they start making this deal in the 70s, it's starting to kind of get to a point where there's, local residents.
So do you think we're meeting some kind of critical mass in both longevity and size?
Jackson Hole's brand is respecting the power of place.
That's good.
And their land trust is Forever Our Valley, which I think is really good too.
The
Of course,
power
it's
of
ours,
place.
we own it.
Okay, all right. It's a very outcome-oriented statement. Okay, so, but there is this notion that we need an integrated report. Is that fair to say that that's a pretty big theme? There's this community part that's part of it, but it's also maybe a separate theme?
I would say it's getting maybe more complex the more people are living here and the more of these, I don't know that I'd call them silos, but I would say that there's separate efforts that are taking place, and yes, there's communication between them, but it's not communication at an incredibly cohesive level. I think as our community continues to grow, there's all these great things that are taking place, these wonderful plans that are coming in to fruition, but it's not becoming less complicated.
Okay.
Put it that way.
And ultimately, integration extends to the valley.
Yeah, has to.
So that idea that what you guys chose as your area and zone of influence really do have to be integrated in some way. Okay. We're going to come back to these. Is there another, Tammy, we got way sidetracked. You're next. You have another one for us, either a community or a new theme.
The new theme that I was seeing was that the economic success of the community is intricately connected to and tied to a healthy environment. You
Amen.
can't have one without the other.
That's right.
They're one and the same.
Tied to healthy environment. Okay. What did you guys see kind of from your discussion and thinking about what are some elements that fit in here, are things that we need to think about as economic? Yeah, both groups spent quite a bit of time on things related to this. So
Housing for our workforce.
Okay, so workforce housing.
Thank you.
Everybody's got a new page.
Hang on, that's
Other things.
Water.
What?
Water.
Water. Okay.
That's water quality and quantity.
Yeah.
Fish, snow.
Okay, wildlife, I heard fish, I heard snow. Okay,
Some of that's tied to tourist perception too.
okay. Is it just tourist perception, or are there other perceptions at work?
Well, the residents care about it too, so
Oh, yeah.
it's perception of that the environment is healthy around them.
I think you guys have hit on all of these things about how much Big Sky affects not only your immediate community and downstream, but it also affects West Yellowstone, it affects Ennis. Do not believe how much Big Sky is talking about it.
Just when we bring up the TED district.
What's this weird white man?
All right, so that it's not just downstream the way flat water flows, but really those economic and community zones.
Both, and I have to say both positively and negatively, because Ennis has a little bit of an identity crisis in itself, that mix that you guys feel in here. Gosh, we gotta have growth because it's good for our economy, but don't make it too big, because I like the way it is.
Don't screw up Odell's.
Bozeman struggles with that. I mean, that's small
Yeah.
and large.
There's every issue, right?
Yeah, yeah, everybody's struggling with that.
I think it's fair to say the state is. I mean, I remember, you know, when I was a kid, this town was between 10 and 15,000, and it was pretty slow in a lot of ways. I mean, sorry, Bozeman wasn't. This was
Yeah, right.
gone. The meadow wasn't developed. Okay, anything else, elements? We'll come back to these, but are there any big elements you kept seeing on economic success tied to healthy environment? Okay, don't worry. we're
What
good.
about viewshed?
Viewshed, okay. Is that environment or aesthetics a new thing? What do you guys think? I'll put viewshed here, but that has come up in a number of different ways. Is aesthetics tied to this, or is it different? I haven't been clear from you guys, but it's come up basically every week. So Jesse brought up viewshed as maybe an element of this. Ron, I'm gonna just try to put
I'd
this
say
up.
aesthetics are more of a social issue, whereas like fisheries and water quality, et cetera, are more ecological issues.
Okay, so is that a separate social issue, or do you guys feel like there's a more encompassing one that fits in, like quality of life or something? I'm not sure if they're separate or together.
I mean, this town only exists because people think it's pretty here and want to come visit, give or take. I mean, it's a resort town, it's here for people's recreational. I mean, it was built on the purpose of recreation.
It's,
Yeah.
but it's more than just pretty. I mean, you know, I mean, I keep wanting to say, well, a favorite saying that I've heard is, trout can't live in ugly places. I mean, trout need clean water to survive, and so trout are kind of the canary in the coal mine, as far as I'm concerned. And, you know, if we have environmental quality, we have a healthy trout fishery. And I think a lot of people are coming here for that, and it's an indicator of a broad range of environmental qualities. But if there is a healthy trout population, we've got a healthy ecology, by definition.
Okay. So it's not just, okay, let's try to tease this out a little more. What other elements, we're gonna have to do some work on this, but let's see about other elements with aesthetics, pretty, what Steve just said is maybe really it's an indicator of a healthy ecology.
I think quality of life is probably the encompassing term that comes to mind for me, where you have the social and ecological kind of running together.
Quality of life. Okay, both social and environmental.
Yeah.
Okay. What else do we need in here? Does viewshed go here as well as our last one? I mean, we're gonna do some more sorting, but I'm just trying to get some first impressions. Okay, viewshed. All right, Susan.
How much development is overdevelopment? Or is how people perceive the development? And, you know, what kinds? You know, where they figure this isn't what I came for anymore.
Uh-huh. I think it got said a few meetings ago that if it all looks like concrete, I don't want to be here. Was one member of the public
Or if
said.
it looks like where I came from,
Uh-huh.
and I wanted to get away from that.
So there's a sense of this uniqueness. Is that right?
Where's that tipping point where whoops, we've developed too much and now no one thinks it's good anymore?
Maybe like being able to identify the difference between growth and development in relation to standard of living versus quality of life.
Okay. Say a little more about that.
I think growth is something that maybe we're all in fear of, whereas development could be more economically sustainable or stable. And I think standard of living exists pretty much uniform everywhere, but it's quality of life that's the next step.
Okay.
So like the difference between growth and progress?
Yeah.
There's progress in first, like economic progress, quality of life progress, more good places to eat and drink, and fish to catch.
It's a little more control.
Okay.
It's positive.
Yeah.
Okay, so this positive idea, progress, okay. What about other things sort of within this quality of life? We've got aesthetics, view shed, we've got this, using it as a proxy on the environment side for healthy ecology, but we've also got sort of these development issues. What else might go in quality of life? Anything else that's coming to mind? Yeah.
I think two things that make this place distinctly different and why people want to get away from where they are too here is, one, there's a quality of wildness about this place, and the other is there are not crowds here. So density is definitely limited here. I mean, if you want to know the difference, visit the Front Range sometime. So this, it's wild and it's accessible and there's not a crowd and there's huge appeal in all of that stuff.
Okay, yeah, the idea, all right.
I'd say also there's a diversity of experience, and I think we're seeing a shift from just a winter economy or a winter experience. So we've embraced a visitor experience and a live here experience. To that point Steve made, though, it is it's also not crowded. So
Okay. That's an interesting one, because you look at sort of the matrix of the area, you've got this private land and then this big matrix of public land.
And you've got a third one is the workforce experience. Whether you can get the workforce, whether the workforce will stay here or, however.
That's a common theme throughout Montana, it is workforce.
Yeah, you're saying it's not limited here or Madison County or.
I'd say one thing that fits within this social aspect is the clear water. There's a lot of rivers across the country that are clean, but they're kind of murky, whether it's like glacial runoff or nutrients, whatever. But people always talk about when they're on the Gallatin River, my God, it's so clear, you can see all the stones at the bottom. That's pretty unique for this community to have that.
That it's the sparkling again.
Yeah.
That aesthetics of it then.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on this? Again, we're going to be coming back to this thing, so.
I also think it's unique for Big Sky. We literally have no communities upstream of us.
As much insulation as I do around my building.
The roof of the continents.
We are upstream.
Roof,
There's a ridge.
Okay, roof of the continent, there's no word. Bob, what did you say at the last November meeting? That it's all downstream except for when it
Headwaters
isn't?
of the continent.
water flows downhill except when it doesn't.
Yes, thank you. That was on the centers, so yeah. There's no, okay. Anything else on this quality of life that's coming to mind, just thematically thinking about what your group and reported out to one another? Okay. Do we have another theme? so far, we've got kind of community and its own ability to direct the future, integrated approach, economic success tied to natural resources, quality of life. So we've got 5 so far. What else do you see as, have we kind of captured what we're trying to see as themes here? Is there anything else that's a theme?
Healthy fish and wildlife came up all over the place.
Does that fall under quality of life?
It's integrated into the other things, but it's also its own, because I think a lot of people want to see healthy fish and wildlife here regardless of whether it creates economic prosperity or community pride.
Okay, let's explore this a little. What about healthy fish and wildlife? What have you guys discussed or see in your groups? What are some?
Everybody uses fish as a metric of success.
Trout per mile, maybe.
You need clean and abundant water to support them.
Yeah, I am a fisherman. I love fishing for that. But to me, it's an indicator species.
They need space.
Trout population.
Space. Okay, let me give
Because
Chris
they live in
healthy riparian areas, did you say? Okay, what else with this healthy fish and wildlife?
But that space, like, migration corridors, ability to move around, especially for wildlife,
Yeah, preservation of wildlife corridors.
Okay, wildlife corridors.
Can you put cold in front of
Cold, yeah.
Golden
study area.
And cold. Okay, wildlife corridors. Is this true of both where the fish go seasonally and other wildlife? Okay, I'm just trying to make sure.
The river corridors are oftentimes wildlife migration corridors as well.
I'd like to explore the thought around that we realize we're temporary. And so whether we're stewards temporarily or we're stewards long-term, does that translate to the fact that we may not be here and our footprint will still be here?
Not for long.
You also will eventually.
Well, we're all done.
Planning is over due to giant caldera. You can all go. It's all gonna, the wind is all gonna push you in the other direction, right? Okay, we're all temporary. What happens beyond us, whether it's you leave, you're dead, whatever?
long-term sustainability.
Okay, so yeah, I heard a lot of you use the word sustainability when you were in your groups.
Climate change was certainly came up quite a bit with the, adaptability, and whatever plan we come up with should factor it in.
Sustainability in the face of climate change.
There you go.
Is
Leave it
that what
together.
those oxymoron? Sustaining our current
Darwin
should
Richard
say
wrote
it.
on that.
Sometimes fish and wildlife need to come at odds to that last thing, the quality of life. Disturbance-based ecosystems
Okay.
don't go so well with communities.
And fish and wildlife can be in conflict, needs.
I was going to say something to that effect that was more associated with the education of the community on how to handle a fish if you're fishing, or how to interact with wildlife, that sort of thing.
Okay. So does that go over here or over there, Jesse? I'm just trying to figure out.
I think it goes with healthy fish and wildlife.
Okay.
And you can't have healthy fish if you've got a bunch of people that are not handling them properly. And,
Taking zero shots.
Shoving bison in the back of their car.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Or people that are feeding berries and that sort of thing.
Zebra mussels.
So that stewardship, from the simplest thing, how do you handle a fish up in the mortality rate if it's fish and release, to You know, I'll catch it really, sorry guys. You know, it's funny, you know, I moved back to the state and I did a project up at Ashley Creek, you know, which is outside of Kalispell. And I'll never forget, there's a new landowner who we were doing a workshop on the watershed and riparian areas and stuff. And I mean, it's just blasted. It's been blasted for 100 years in part of Ashley Creek. And she said to me, I thought it was supposed to look like that. It was this light bulb, but you know, I lived there 5 years, and it had been almost 100 since the initial riparian degradation. So that seems to go with some of this, is knowing what it actually is supposed to be.
I got one.
Yeah.
There's an enormous economic value to functioning fish and wildlife.
Amen to that.
You know, Dave, you said, I heard you say functioning too when you were talking in your smaller group. You guys want to talk about this issue of functioning? Because I heard a bunch of people talking about sort of functioning systems. Is there something we need to add here, or have we already captured it?
Well, a functioning ecological system has a lot of resilience to disturbance, potentially climate change.
And I just thought of something else, speaking of that. You're talking about resiliency against invasives, whether it's noxious weeds or whatever goes in the water.
Fish disease.
Yeah.
Just remember that when we talk about healthy fish populations in Montana, we're talking about healthy wild fish populations. We're not
Okay.
talking about stocking.
And stocking is not healthy.
Wild fish, okay.
You get a restraining order if you stalk too much.
All right, but it's a wild system, not a game farm, it's a stock fish pond. Okay, anything else on this? I mean, we're gonna revisit all of these, but I just wanna see if we capture big themes.
Touching back on the economic value of a healthy ecosystem, this is an old statistic, but back in 2000, E.O. Wilson said that a healthy environment provides $3 trillion in environmental services to us as a global community. I'm
And
sure.
that's globally, right?
Yep.
That's it?
Yeah.
Seriously, it seems like
Old statistics, yeah.
2000, now it's.
Okay.
That was old science. We have new science.
Inflation since
All right. Okay, are there any other themes? We've got 5 kind of big ones right now. Sort of community and its ability to direct its own future, integrated approach, economic success tied to the healthy environment, quality of life, and healthy fish and wildlife. Yeah.
I think the policy constraints or policy, law and policy actually came up in a lot of different forms.
Okay,
I don't know if it's its own theme, but it's a,
let's put it up here. We're gonna keep
Sorry,
policy.
sideboards.
so we talked about zoning and different types of zoning and as a one means of protecting or enhancing the quality of life. We talked about, everything from Water Quality Act, water quality laws, to water quantity that might somehow constrain our ability to come up with new topics, but also our ability to change those policies.
Waters of the U.S.
So this may, when we're thinking about it, this may be a constraint.
It could be a constraint or an opportunity.
I think there's an element of local control to that.
Yeah.
Okay. One question I want to ask kind of along those lines. You brought up in this integration one earlier about how there's a lot of fragmentation. Are there any of those issues related to sort of this policy one that we talked about or need to get up? I don't know the answer, but
I don't know, incorporation, I don't know if it's a dirty word or not, but I mean, that kind of concept of creating a single body that, local government body that coordinates water, sewer, water quality, or water, drinking water.
Okay, we don't know necessarily if we've got any agreement, but certainly
Yeah,
something
yeah.
there, okay? Other things on this policy constraint or opportunities.
Bridging to counties with different rules in place.
Okay. Bridging to counties, okay.
Oh, 2 drainages.
Okay, so the ecological as well.
I know, what's going on? Going up wild out there.
I know, it's this day.
With I mean, this kind of ties the community ability and the policy constraints. You know, there's been some talk about needing this global governance, whether or not it's an expanded sewer and water district, et cetera. But under the community, I'm not saying that that's not needed, but I'm hoping through this process that there's just a collective mindset, that there's a conscience that you just got to do the right thing when it comes to how we handle our water.
Okay, so a collective mindset. Okay. Yeah, Dave?
I'll just say, it would be advantageous to come up with something in the event that there isn't policy in the future.
With solutions, okay.
Bob,
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Pat and then Steve, I think.
you had your hand up.
Water is its own constraint. I mean, it's at some point, our consumption of water is going to limit what's going on around here. So I mean, it's kind of its ultimate form of capitalism, right? When we run out, we're done.
Okay, so that maybe fits a bunch of these, possibly? Okay. Pat, you had something?
Yeah, I think Bob captured it well in his comments earlier. But we're not looking at regulations as a ceiling, but we're looking at regulations as a floor, and we could do better.
Oh, yeah.
As a floor. The hats, we can do. All right, we can do that. Okay. Ethan, did you have something? But somebody, sorry, Susan.
We were talking about this on the way down in terms of, okay, in the development phase, everybody's got their, on how many lots they're gonna have and this kind of thing. But then you move into the sustainable phase, and the environment's critical for the development phase, but even more so the sustainable phase. And kind of what we talked about a little bit earlier at the beginning is who is responsible for the sustainable phase and seeing that's carried out. Because on a development stage, the development is largely pinned to some lots, and then after that's done, who picks up the ball and goes from there.
Okay.
And whether that's incorporation or a government or regulatory or how, you gotta figure that one out.
Okay, so that's the issue, is we're in this development phase, but what then happens? Any others on this? Okay.
I have a
Yes.
question. If the build-out models take into account that more people are living here year-round, and do those models need to be adjusted with a greater year-round population?
And occupancy. So that changes.
Within the water
Okay.
sewer district.
Okay, great. I'll do some sorting. This is, again, what I'm gonna do with this stuff is, we're gonna write all this stuff up, get it into notes pretty soon for you, but when we come back on February 22nd, do some thinking, talk to your colleagues. I know a lot of you have boards. neighbors. Let's figure out what's most important, because what we'd like to use is this work and these themes as a basis, so in February we can start thinking about, well, what are our goals for water resources? Not say we're finishing that project in February, but that's where we're hopefully going. So if you can, in the next month or so, not just think about yourself, but also if you could talk with some of the folks that you work with or see regularly. Be interesting to see what they might add that we haven't captured yet. With that, I would, as promised, like to say we've got a second formal public comment, and then we're going to do a closing question. Anybody from the public, is there anything you want to comment on or say that you didn't get to ask or you didn't mention already? Okay, but again, thank you for coming. This is time out of your day, and we appreciate it. All right, here's the closing question. And we'll start with Kristen and work our way through everybody. Is how do you feel about our work together today, and how do you feel about moving forward? Kristen, our work together today and going forward with it.
I'm really excited that we're starting to have conversations together, and I'm looking forward to what comes out of it.
Okay, great. Eric?
The worst case, best case, we often come into that with our narrow ideas. So I come in with water quality. But this exercise is really great. There's a lot of other, that didn't think of it that way.
Okay. Great. You sure talk for us too, yeah.
I'm just excited to see what ideas come out of this.
Okay.
Again, I think it's great everybody talking together, come up with community-wide solutions.
Okay. Jess, sort of how you feel today and going forward?
I think this went well today, and I think we have a lot of work ahead of us going forward.
Have a lot of work. Great. Kevin?
I think I was curious about the best and worst case scenario and the benefits of it, but I can see it. It's kind of nice to see the two scenarios. It's a lot more fun to talk about the best case scenario. And I'm excited about the next steps. I'm ready for the next steps. And yeah.
Okay. Great. Steve?
Great conversation. I wish we could engage the community way more broadly in this discussion.
Okay, more broadly. Carrie?
I just really enjoyed today's discussion, that everyone stayed on a positive note, which is good. Nice. Look forward to moving forward.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I enjoyed this process. I've never encountered this before. And to Steve's point, I think it'd be worth trying to digest as much of this into an education format as possible for the community.
Okay. Education format. Scott?
Oh, a great conversation today. I am looking forward to finding out where the tensions exist amongst us and starting to resolve some of those.
Okay, great. Susan?
I think laying it out this way, you begin to, it's not clear yet, where the connections are, that you have a lot to put on there to do the diagram, to find the connections.
Okay. Go ahead.
Figuring out how to pay for the solutions, I think, is going to be complicated.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad that you're ready for implementation planning, so that's good. Bob?
It's been covered. I'm good.
It doesn't matter if it's been covered, Bob.
I think we're in a unique position. We're having a discussion about how we are impacting people downstream, and we're, being aware of that. Whereas a community like Gallatin or Gateway or Bozeman, they have to think about who's affecting them upstream and who they're affecting downstream. So we really only have one side of that conversation to have,
okay,
which streamlines the process.
Okay.
I think anytime you take ideas and then derive thematics from them to find equal footing is a great place to start a successful program whole process.
Okay.
And we had some good discussions today, I think. Like Scott says, I'm interested to see where those tensions might exist. I think there's definitely some big elements in the room that we're going to have to come out and address eventually. So I'm curious how this group handles those conversations. And I agree also that one of the bigger ones is probably going to come down to how this is going to get paid for in the end. And we talked a little bit about how healthy resources creates economic development, but I'm curious how economic development creates healthy resources and vice versa.
Okay.
This is all pretty new to me, but I learned a lot today. I agree with getting the community more involved somehow.
Okay.
I think today's worst and best case scenario exercise really cemented for me that we share common goals, and we also have common fears, and it seemed to be very consistent across the groups. And I think that provides a great foundation for moving forward and starting to identify concrete steps.
Okay.
Oh, I was just struck by the abundance of issues and variables that were developed in this exercise.
How do you feel given that going forward?
There's a lot of things that are important to people, so we should try to sit with those.
All right. Well said, Jim.
Generally speaking, your worst and best scenarios are similar to those that are being discussed throughout our county and the state. So I'll be excited actually to see how you work toward solving. I mean, I hear these things in every community. So you guys are on the right step, I think.
Great. Tammy?
It was a productive and engaging conversation. I enjoyed hearing what everyone had to say, and I agree with Pat that we have a lot of the same positive themes and negative themes going on, and it is also too bad that the community can't participate in these little small group discussions and come up with the same best case and worst case scenarios, so they could really be involved, like Steve has mentioned. I think that'd be really productive for them to sit down as a group and talk it out. But I'm also excited to see what happens next and how we're going to tackle all this. So,
okay.
I think that this was an effective way to discuss what the community wants, and I agree with what you said, that there are communities that want a lot of the same things, and I think it comes down to a lot of us wanting a quality of life, and I'm excited to have this term and be involved with a bunch of land stewards.
Okay, great.
I'm optimistic and excited about creating common goals in future plans.
Okay.
I think I'm working in the federal and Forest Service zone. I've been involved in a little bit of collaborative stuff, and I'm really impressed at how well this group is working together, and that hasn't been an experience of mine too much. So, and I was really impressed with the conversation today and the commonalities, and there really are some baseline things that are all getting together.
Guy?
Very pleased and encouraged by the shared common goals. Not only reiterating what the goals of this collaborative are, but hearing people express those goals cogently, saying, we want to protect this place, we value it, etc. Same time, very anxious to see what solutions look like and to put pen to paper in terms of concrete, discrete suggestions about what does that look like in terms of creating accountability, transparency, and frankly enforceability for creating watershed improvement as well as future protection of this special place.
Okay, great, thank you. Ron, I think you're back there.
My apologies to Group 1 for having to be in the basement. We literally threw a lot of stuff on the wall and it all stuck. So I think that is telling in the next 4 or 5 months on what we've got to do. But it will be interesting to take all these things and kind of boil them down into working tasks for Big Sky going forward.
Okay. Emily?
I was impressed by the small group discussions. I think we made a lot of progress today. I'm excited to see how we work towards those best case scenarios.
Okay, did I miss anybody? Jeff, you want to voice on this?
I thought you were going to get away. I know, I'm telling you. It's exciting to see kind of the long lists get formatted into these themes, and looking forward to that becoming more clear in the next few sessions.
Okay, getting more clear. Yeah, thank you all. Yes.
Sorry, before you thank everyone, I wanted to ask one question because a lot of people brought up that they wish more members of the community would be exposed to this. I'm wondering if between now and the next meeting that kind of the central organizers, the Gallatin River Task Force and Karen, if you can think about some ways to do that, whether it's a regular column in the local newspaper, whether it's creating a Facebook page so some of us can share some of these issues with other people in the community and get them to show up. So I would just ask that you guys address that between now and the next meeting.
All right. Well, Scott, that's great. Since
Bring a friend.
bring a friend, I like that. All right. Since serve beer. Trust me, that. Actually, since we have 2 minutes to 4, I know you guys want to know. Anybody really quick off the top of your head? I just heard 5 things. Anything else that you can think of that you want? I mean, all our heads together is a lot better than 2 of us doing this. So, anybody else got a way to help engage the community that you think would be effective? I'll ask again when Kristen sends out the email, but
We've been starting to do YouTube summaries for complicated issues, taking hours and to turn it into 5 minutes.
Your water quality standards regulations update. Great job, Eric.
You like it?
YouTube, baby.
I think knowing the Big Sky community Facebook with a person who is able to communicate complex scientific ideas and passions into layman's terms might be productive, because then it's just there and they can read it and they understand it and then they care.
Okay, great.
It's complicated.
For those of you that haven't heard of Pachachka, it's like a international, it's kind of like TEDx talks. And Bozeman has a chapter, and it's one of the most popular ones in the world. So every 3 months, there's 2 nights of Pachachka presentations, and you get like 20
slides.
You get 20 slides, 20 seconds a slide.
Yep.
There are 500 people in the Ellen Theater each night for 2 nights in a row. Wow. And they're always looking for more presentations from conservation-oriented groups. I think it'd be great if Kristen or someone else from...
Second the nomination.
There's a TEDx thing on the calendar for Big Sky just at the end of this month.
I think it's, the speakers are probably selected.
Well, screw that folder.
Anyway,
We want a
there's
place.
ongoing solicitations for presentations at Pachachka, and you reach 1,000 people in the Gallatin Valley at each one of those.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.